With Ike, Spike, and Fritz. How we feeling, Brother Ike?
Brother Spike, I'm doing pretty good. Last night was a little difficult. Great to see the boys back in action down in the ATL. Not the result we were looking for.
Nope.
We'll get into that. We're closer and closer to adding the newest members to the Philadelphia Eagles family as well. The draft is not too far away. Jackie Baseball, explain to me what the hell happened last night. I'll let your boy.
Sloppy baseball by the boys last night. Simple as that. Yep. Sloppy baseball all around. Bad pitching.
Yep.
And some bad performances.
Yeah. Overall, not a great one. We have a great show, though. We always do. By the way, I'm looking at the computer that Hugh uses.
Yes.
Why is he looking at mint?
What's on there?
Why is he looking at mint julep pants? What is this? I mean, can you imagine Hugh wearing this? What's going on here, man?
Oh, man, that's Hugh. You know.
I didn't mean to derail the beginning of the show.
Today in fashion with today's youth and everyone else, everybody has their own identity and what they're trying to go for.
Really, youth? Hugh?
I don't know if that's, I know youth and Hugh doesn't necessarily go together.
Yeah, he's old like us.
This individualism is out there. In other words, that's a Hugh look. That's something he's going for.
I wonder if I could pull that off. You think I should get the same pants as Hugh? We could
For
be
people
like,
who don't know what we're talking about, this is sort of you're not a fan of golf.
No.
John Daly is a golfer. You heard of John Daly.
Yeah, of course.
So every once in a while you got these golfers out there who try to show their personality through their outfits.
Oh, like Payne Stewart did.
Yes.
Oh,
he was a gentleman.
Yeah. He had NFL stuff.
Yes.
Payne Stewart had Packer stuff, and I remember Payne
And
Stewart.
he wore the short pants.
Yes.
He wore the short knickers.
Yep.
So to your point, I think Hugh was going for a John Daly look there.
I'm going to get me a pair of those. Me and Hugh, it's going to be like twins, too.
Here's what I say. I told Hugh, that's a lot of pattern for a big man.
It is.
A lot of pattern.
It is. So big show as always. We do kick off draft season officially today on the WIP Afternoon Show as we get the man Mike Mayock will join us at 4 o'clock today. It is Wednesday, so Flyers and 50 will be at 3:30 with Birds. Do we continue Flyers and 50 once the season's over, Jack?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the hockey off season like?
I had no idea.
I don't know. Yeah.
Now they might be what they should. They suck, right? They should have a top 5 pick. So maybe we can get some draft talk with Broads. Would that be exciting?
Yeah,
sure.
What about free agency? Are we big in free agency?
Sure. Might as well.
Is LeCavier still out there?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's just turning into Broads. Just Broads and 50.
Broads and 50.
Okay.
And Eagles Insider of the Year Power Rankings at 4:30. And today's show, all day long, sponsored by Guided Door and Window. Get 20% off all windows and doors with no money down, up to 6 years to pay it off interest-free. Call Guided Door and Window today at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit GoGuida.com. So you mentioned, not a great game last night. Jack mentioned it as well. Sort of a failure on all different levels as the Phillies go down to the Braves in the first game of the series. Wheeler was not top of the line Wheeler. Bullpen was not great. Who knows what Johan Rojas was doing in center field? And again, the Daycare, Marsh, Bohm, and Stotty.
America's leadoff hitter.
America's leadoff hitter. Wow, you're getting a little rough on Stott. You're getting a little rough on Stott today.
He's a little fed up.
Yeah, he's getting a little fed up on Stott.
Love Stotty,
but
a little annoyed with the leadoff thing.
Yeah.
And we got a call for what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's the leadoff
thing.
Yep. Hard to hit leadoff when you swing a pool noodle.
So, come on, man.
Noodle.
Wow. So let me ask you this, Ike.
He really has gone south on Stotty.
He has. 7-3 now.
Yes.
Nothing's melting down, but the two big issues, it seems like right now, are the bullpen and the performance of the Daycare. If you were to say which is a bigger issue for Ike Reese right now, would you say the bullpen or the Daycare?
I would have to look at the bullpen. Because here's what I'll say. At least with the Daycare, with the exception of Bohm, the other guys are towards the bottom of the lineup. They don't hurt you as much. Now, if they get put up in that position late in the game where you need a big hit from them, I can see where the microscope goes to them. But for the most part, you're going to need a 7th, 8th, and a 9th inning from your bullpen every night.
Mm-hmm.
Wheeler's going to give you 7 innings most nights. I'm not worried about what his outing looked like last night. He's tried and true. He's proven. But when you talk about starters 3 through 5.
Yeah.
You're going to need a lot of these games are going to be about your bullpen either holding the lead or how about not extending the lead for the other team, giving you a chance to come back late in the game. And that's why I feel like in the close games, I don't have the schedule in front of me right now, but it feels like we're in more of a prayerful sort of mode getting through the close games versus us having a larger lead at the end of the game.
Right, sure. And last year, the bullpen was so good. Was like lights out.
3 guys to the All-Star game, 2 guys to the All-Star game.
Hoffman, Strom. I think we sent 2. I don't think we sent a third reliever to the All-Star game. But Ranger went.
It was just those 2. Hoffman
it was just those 2.
Strom.
Yeah.
But yeah, and with the hitters, like I said, they got the protection of those guys at the top of the order, and at least with them, well, you got Rojas where you can slide in there. I'm just trying to think of some of the bench players that you could possibly platoon with or move around to where they don't necessarily hurt the team. Long story short, I feel like the bullpen has more of an impact on your wins and losses than those guys at the bottom of the lineup. I know Bowman's not at the bottom of the lineup,
sure,
but the other 2 guys are.
215-592-9494. Bigger concern for you for the Phillies moving forward, is it the daycare or the bullpen? So to me, I think it's the daycare because it's a harder problem to solve. So the reason the bullpen, I'm not too worried about it, is you look around baseball, and there's not a lot of teams that have a super solid bullpen. You know, I mean, it's almost like at this point, I think it's a luxury. It was sort of surprising last year. And you're right, you're going to need 7, 8, 9 on most nights, but we do have starting pitching that is better than almost any team in baseball at this point, especially if Luzardo stays healthy. To me, the issue with the daycare is if it was one of those guys, I could deal with it. The problem right now is that it's 3 of those guys. Now, you're right. In Marsh and Stott are at the end of the lineup, but Marsh is not. This is the 3rd straight year they've talked about Marsh as an everyday player, and already they're out on Marsh as an everyday player. And not having an everyday center fielder, you saw what we had last night. I think part of that is part of and I would love to bury Rojas for letting that ball drop right in front of him. But if he's not the everyday center fielder and he's playing with a left fielder who's never played left field before, there's a little bit of a communication issue. And I don't want my center field position to be a platoon situation, really. And that's my problem with Marsh, is that I don't think Marsh is going to get any better. Marsh is what he is. Then we go to third base, and I know I've said it for 3 days in a row now, but I am done with Alec Bohm. 100% done. There was more nonsense. He popped it up on the first pitch last night, the strikeout in the final at bat, throwing his helmet again. It's just like it's every single night. And I don't think that situation's getting any better. I think that situation's only getting worse. The Bohm situation is my prediction on that.
He extended the inning in the first inning.
He did. He did. He had a single in the first inning. But I just
point out the good things too.
I'm just watching Bohm.
Took more pitches last night.
He did.
Except for the one at bat.
Except for the one at bat where he popped it up on the first friggin' pitch and then threw his helmet again.
He did.
And I just see it trending down. And Stott, as much as I love Stott, it's not that I'm concerned. He just sort of, my guess is he is what he is. I think
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He just pretty much is what he is.
I think he's an everyday player. I think he's a good enough second baseman defensively to be an everyday player. But again, if it was one of these 3 things, if Stott, remember we won the World Series in 2008 with Pedro Feliz as a third baseman. Certainly is not not an all-star level player, just a solid defender, a decent enough hitter, and whatever. But the rest of your lineup was so good that it wasn't so I look at Stott and I'm like, well, it's not that Stott isn't hitting 320. It's that he's going to be a 250 hitter with also Marsh as a platoon player in center field with Johan Rojas, who can't hit, and Alec Bohm, who hasn't hit yet and is crumbling mentally. So to me, that's a third of your starting lineup right there. I mean, yes, 2 of them are bottom part of the lineup, but a third of your lineup, all of a sudden, you're looking at as question marks. And that, to me, that is the biggest thing, that not one of those guys has developed. I know Alec Bohm was an all-star last year, but I expected him to be a better hitter at this point in his career, to be more, and I certainly didn't expect him to be so temperamental at this point of his career. Jackie Baseball over there, bigger. Now, you've been mentioning bullpen since the season started.
Yeah, I felt like they were an arm short heading into the year, and that was with Romano being good. So that's my concern, is that now Romano's elbow might be spaghetti. So, on top of that, they felt an arm short. And I look at the bullpen every night, and it's not that I think Kerkering, Strawman, and Alvarado are fine, right?
Yes.
But when they can't go or they're off a little bit, like Kerkering was last night, they just it's hard for them to get out of it. And then they have to put a lot of faith in the Jose Ruizes of the world, in the Joe Ross of the world. I think Joe Ross is interesting. I think Jose Ruiz is interesting. But last year, even with Estevez, who we weren't huge fans of, me and Spike, it was another competent MLB bullpen piece.
100%. Not a closer, I don't think, not a dependable closer, but he'd get in, and most times you're getting out of the end.
Like that last year, they had a top 5 bullpen in the sport, and then they went from having Hoffman and Estevez to losing both of them, replacing them with only Romano, and Romano might not be it. So,
right.
And the other issue is, they have to get to July, or at least late June, with this bullpen, which they could easily burn out those 3, which you don't want to see. And there's not really an obvious move they can make right now. You can bring some guys up from AAA, but that's a risk, obviously. There's some interesting arms, but it's still a risk. That problem can't really be fixed until a trade deadline. And they might need 2 arms in the bullpen.
Yeah, I think they definitely need 2 arms in the bullpen, unless that's when the Painter thing starts. You start talking about, and maybe Ranger's a bullpen. And they said yesterday that Ranger had a good sort of rehab. I don't think he started in a game, but he threw two simulated innings, and then they're going to throw him out there for 3 innings this week. So, but remember, he didn't have spring training, so he's probably. I know they said 3 starts for Taijuan. I don't believe that. I think if Ranger comes back, he's probably another 3 or 4 weeks away. That would be my guess. So we throw it out to you: 215-592-9494. Bigger concern for you for the Phillies, is it the bullpen or is it Daycare? Both Ike and Jack say bullpen. I say Daycare. That's a 30-year lineup. We do have a next question today.
What we got?
As it is Hugh Hefner's birthday. So I did meet Hugh Hefner, as I told the guys today when I was in college. Did shake his hand. Haven't washed the hand since.
I hope he washed his hand before you shook it.
So today's next question is going to be, give us a famous ladies' man. Jack, why don't you give us a ladies' man? Give us a bad answer.
Well, hold on. I think this might be a pretty good answer.
Okay.
Jerry Buss.
Jerry Buss.
Yeah.
Jerry Buss, a ladies' man?
Come on, man.
How did you pull Jerry Buss out of you?
Because I was
thinking about
he's a Playboy
with Showtime.
Oh, right.
That's exactly where he saw it from.
Okay, I didn't
winning
see
time.
It.
Sorry, winning time.
I didn't know that.
I know what you meant. Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
man, that's a big answer. You gotta look up Jerry Buss's accolades.
Yeah, all right. I didn't know that was a big answer. Ike, a famous ladies'
Jerry
man.
Buss was a lot like Hugh Hefner.
Oh, was he?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh man, so many different ladies' men to go with.
Yep.
Oh, who do I have as a ladies' man? You know who I'm gonna go with? I could have went with an old school guy.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the captain, Derek Jeter.
That's a big answer.
Jeter is a good one.
Ladies' man.
Starting nine's out of control.
Yeah,
he might be a better ladies' man than a player.
And didn't he send his dates home with an autographed baseball or something?
That's pretty cool.
Well, a gift basket.
A gift basket
with an autographed baseball in it.
Right.
That's the legend.
Right.
Listen, you had to at least think about it.
So mine is Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio has been, he is taking full advantage of the leading man position from a ladies' man situation.
Yeah.
Leo has been that way his whole and
enjoyed it.
And Leo is a handsome young man. Leo ain't handsome anymore, but it doesn't really matter for Leo. Leo seems to do quite well. Leo's gotten
you think Leo's still handsome?
Nah,
he's good looking.
He's weird looking and bloated.
Yeah, he's got a little gut
don't
going
look at the body. Yeah, don't look at the body.
I'm just saying overall.
Yes.
I'm saying if Leo wasn't famous and you just saw him on the street,
right.
I don't think Leo's a looker anymore. He was when he was younger, but I don't think he is now. All right, 215-592-9494. Phils, what's a bigger concern for you, the bullpen or the daycare? And next question today, in honor of Hugh Hefner's birthday, give us a famous ladies' man.